Okay. So the first thing is to use your basic modeling tools, and for something like the tire, you just use a torus or donut. So something like this, and I'll just rotate that again. Press the E key to get the rotate tool, and then hold the J key while I'm dragging, in this case, the blue circle. So this will become my my tire. So on the right here, oops, I have this polytorus, and if I go in here, there's a couple of different settings. There's the radius that changes how big it is, so I can just make it like a big one if I like. I can also keep it small and just change the thickness of it. So I think the easiest thing is just to make it slightly bigger, like so. There's also settings for subdivisions, so I can get more subdivisions going around. What I do is I click this area, and then I middle mouse button click drag right and left in the viewport. I'm not clicking over here, that doesn't work. You need to go out here to do it. So maybe set this to 36 or 32. 32 is a nicer number, right? And this one to 16. You will see these power of 2 numbers a lot. It's generally a better idea to use 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, etc. Than to use weird numbers like 117 or something like that. Especially when we're talking things like maps and other stuff. So, but here it actually doesn't matter that much, but I'm just messed up, I guess. So I use it. So this will be my my tire, and then I just duplicate that. So I grab that and go edit duplicate, and then I take my scale tool and I just scale this slightly smaller, like there. So that will become the rim. Okay. I can add colors to this. So if I go to the rendering tab up here and just select the outer one, I will use the blend one. Yeah. So you can see it gets a little bit of shine, and you should see blend appear on the right side over here. You can right click your object and say material attributes, and that should bring up the material over here. You can also just click it here. It's whatever you find is more easy. So that would be a black color. This one will be another one, and that will just be like a gray shiny thingy. Let's see, something very shiny, something chrome-ish. There we go. Good. So to create the spokes here, this is where it gets really interesting. So I'll open up my outliner because it will be good to have it here. I will create a cylinder. Yeah. And again, I'll just change this to 8, and I'll just change, well, yeah, 8 is good. Oh, 16. Yeah. And just change the size of this, make this thinner, longer, and this should sort of like work from this point here, so something like this. So what you see here is that I have my pivot point at the center. Okay. So whatever I do to this will rotate around the center. But I really want to rotate it around the center of the universe, if you like, because that is where then I would be able to like make a lot of copies going around. Okay. So what I do is I group that to itself. That is something you will do a lot. So just have that one object select it, and then I go group. And remember, when I do a group, the new pivot point or center will be at the center of the grid. So when I have the group selected, my pivot point is here. When I have the cylinder selected, my pivot point is up here. So the nice thing here is that now I will be able to rotate this around, like so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a duplicate of this. So I just go Edit, Duplicate Special, Options, and maybe I had some information in here from yesterday from the temple, so I'll just go Reset Settings so that it's zeroed out. And then I'll look at this. I want to rotate this around the x-axis. And I want 16... Oh, let's make this easy on ourselves. I want to have 18 copies in all, so I need 17 new ones. And since I'm rotating this around the x-axis and I will get 18 in all, I need to rotate it how many degrees? 360 divided by 18, 20 degrees. Okay, so it'll be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and then I should end up with 18 in all. There we go. So, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So, I have this group here, and I'll just group that one more time. There. So now it's easy to see what I'm working on. I'll just call this spokes 1, because I need something on the other side as well. If I open this, and then select all of the entries in here, they will all be rotated around the center here. So what I can do is, if I rotate it now, I will rotate every single one around its own axis. So I'll get something like this. Okay? I can also rotate it like that. And I can rotate it like this. But this is what I want. I want it to be like, slightly pointy. Is this enough? More. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I would also be able to like move these in and out. So, oops, undo. So that's the nice thing about doing groups like this. I'll just take the top group and then I'll move this over here so that it's sort of centered, like this. Another trick, if I have this group here and I hold the Shift key, when I click the plus sign, it will expand everything. Okay? So if I then just select just the cylinders, not the groups with the cylinders. Remember, they all have the pivot point at the center of the cylinder, not at the end of it. There. So if I now do some rotation, I'll be able to do like funky stuff. So that's also something interesting. So I guess we could make something that looked a little nice by doing this maybe. That looks a little bit more cool, right? So I'll take this, collapse it again, and then I'll do a duplicate of that. Duplicate. And then the new one, I will just rotate, hold the J key, and then go, woo! What was that? I need to hold the J key. There we go. And move this over. Something like this, and then it's already offset a little bit, so that looks sort of good. Just select all of these, right click, assign existing, and then number 2 was the one I used for the rim, so I'll use the same one for this. So I'm almost there. Then of course I need something going through there, so I'll just go here, rotate, hold the J key, scale this down, make it be this way and make it slightly smaller. Something like a little bit bigger. There we go. That's probably good. And then I need like the fork bit. And for that I will use another torus. Just move that up and I'll rotate that round. Like so. Move that down a little bit. Put that over there. And then I can play with the sizes here to figure out how this should be. Maybe this should be like that and this should be... So it's a question of how thick it should be. So maybe this should be 0.4. That is sort of good. And then I'll do something new. I will take this and then I'll delete all of the bottom part. So I'll just right click and go face. And then select all of the bottom faces here. And then I'll press delete. So that was sort of it. Go back to object. So as you can see, I now have a hole here. But if I go to the mesh menu, there's this option called fill hole. It will run through your object and it will close any holes that are there. There we go. So it puts a cap on each of these two holes. Select the object, right click, go face, select that one, shift, select that one. So they're both selected. And then I'll use the extrude tool. And I'll just extrude this down. Maybe there. Ooh, we can see that it's going to collide here. That will not work. So what do we do? This is one of the places where history will work fine. I'll go back to polytorus and I'll just look at the radius here and I can just change the radius like so. And you can see it works on both sides. So just a question of finding the right spot. So this is good. And then another cylinder here. Move that up. Make the radius here smaller, move that down a little bit, like so. Maybe give this a radius of 2.5. Oh, that was the height. Radius of 0.4. That's too much. 0.35. Yeah, 0.35. See, this happened. I pressed 3 while I was in here instead of over here. So now my thing here is funky looking. That is the 1, 2, 3 thing we looked at yesterday. So I just set it back to 1 and then it looks like that. Just do a duplicate of this, edit duplicate or Control D and move this up, make this slightly smaller, move that down a little bit. Maybe I want an extra one like this to sort of be the in-between thing here. Scale tool. There we go. Okay, so I'll just select these two here and make a new material, and it should be red like that nice old picture thing. There we go. This one I can make slightly longer, make that a little bit more like so, and then I want these two to be the chrome material I have here. And then I need to create the seat, and for that I can just use a sphere. I remember in the original one I used a NURB sphere. Yeah, but let's just do it with the polygon sphere. That will work as well. There we go. Move that up. Make this slightly simpler. Maybe 16 by 16 or maybe 8 by 8. Something like that. Rotate that around. Hold the J key. There, scale it down. so. And then I'll use component editing. So I right click and go edge, and if I then double click an edge, you can see that it will select the whole loop, and I can then make this slightly less, like so. Maybe this should be a little more like so, and maybe this one should go a little bit down. Yeah, that's okay. And then I grab that and I press the smooth button. It's this one. You can always look at the bottom left corner to see what it tells you. You can also go to the settings preferences. This is a nice place to know your way around. Settings preferences, and in here you can customize Maya any way you like. And there is this thing called tooltips. Let's see if I can find it. Display the tool clips. There we go. So now when I roll over, it pops up the info for the tool up here instead of just down here. Okay, so I'll smooth this. Just click this and it will smooth it. And you can see you get a slider here, so you can choose how many levels of smoothness you want. This should be fine. I'll just grab these two here, move these up a little bit. So maybe that one as well. And that one, yeah, that's good. And maybe I should just use the black color for this. Existing blend 1, move that down. That's a little small, just make that bigger. Oop. Make that bigger. Like so. Maybe take some of the faces down here. You can also grow selection by shift larger. So. Then pull that up a little bit. Undo. Maybe just scale invert that a little bit, like so. Oop. Ah, there we go, object. And then I could add a sphere here at the top to sort of look like that's what's the connector. Ooh, too large. There we go. Something like this. So that is a really quick way. Of course, you need to make pedals as well, but that is really fast. Just make a cube, move that cube out here, scale it how you want it. Like maybe, oh, that's too much. There, move that down, move that in there, something like that. And then create another cylinder, hold the J key, scale, not that one, that one, move that down, out, and then it's just a question of getting this to fit size-wise, so something like this, and then I need 2 more cubes. Maybe look at the right side. I can also do it up here, panel, orthographic side. And then it's easier to arrange things, at least in wireframe. And I can see that I have my cylinder here and I want it to be sort of in the middle of that. And it should be a little bit flat like that. Oop. And then move that out. There. And then make it a little wider, something like that. Make a duplicate, move that over here. And then I probably just need another duplicate. Move that out there and make that flat. And another one. Control D to duplicate, and then over there. And these should be black. So that was plane 1. And these here should all be the chrome one. There. So that's one side, and of course I can grab all of this and put it over here. Now there's an alternative to grouping, and that's called parenting. Now everything is separate bits, but for instance, I'll grab all of the spokes here. Actually, I'll take the tire. Let's go tire, and I'll take this one, call it rim, and I'll take the spokes and make them a child of the rim. So I'll just grab these two, and then middle mouse button drag them onto the rim. So now you can see the rim has these as like a child. So if I move the rim around, they will follow. And I do the same thing with the rim on the tire. There. So whenever I select the tire, all of the rest of it will follow along. Alright. Then I will take this will be my center bar. I will put that under the tire as well. I could also put it under the rim, but I'll just put it there. Let's go like this. By the way, don't use any Danish letters or non-US letters for that matter. It will just go bad. Very bad. Then what I'll do here is I will make this, and this a child of this one. So I'll select this one last. You can see that the way Maya does it is that it color codes things. So what you select becomes white, unless it's the last selected object, then it's green. And that usually has importance. So the last selected object will be the object with a special meaning in this case. So if I use the alternative to grouping called parent, all the white objects will become children of the green object. So there we go. So you can see now I have this bar here is the parent, and underneath that we have all of the other bits. And then I'll do the same with this bar here. So I'll take this and middle mouse button drag it out there, and then I can just call this pedal. There we go. And I need a copy of this, so I'll just go edit, duplicate, and this should be on the other side. So let's see, this one is placed at x minus 199. So if I just change this to plus, and then I need to rotate that around y by 180. There. This will be really difficult to write. So I'll just grab the J key and oh, what happened? Oh, it was the pivot point. Just move that up there. And now I have this. And each of these should go to the center bar, right? So I'll just put that in there. So if I rotate my tire now, it all moves along. And I need to make that part of the bike. So let's see, grab this one. Actually, I want this to go down a little further, so I go to extrude, and then I press this button over here. And then I can just extend the extrude a little bit, like so. So this is the fork bit. So I'll just make the tire be a child of the fork. And then we have the seat here, should be a child of this thing. And this thing should be a child of that thing. And this thing should be a child of that thing. And this should be a child of that. And this should be a child of that. There we go. So now we just have one thing over there that will select our entire object, and we can move it around. And if I click the tire, then I can make rotations to this, and I can start to do funny things. So that is one way of doing it. There's a lot of different ways. It's sort of weird proportions, right? Yeah, this should be thicker. Anyway, good. I will give you, let's see, you have a break at 9:40, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So until the end of the break to make your own version of this.
What did you make them yesterday?
Sorry?
What did you make them yesterday?
Yes.